Senate will come to order. The senators will please take their seats. Those persons not entitled to the privilege of the floor will please retire to the gallery. The senators in attendance will stand and be led in prayer by the Reverend Dr. Alicia Johnson, Richmond Hill, Richmond, Virginia. Following the prayer, everyone will remain standing and be led in a pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America by our Senate page, Jayla Underwood, who is turning 14 today.
Good morning. Let us pray. Creator of the universe, maker, sustainer, ruler of the earth, all-wise and eternal God, our Father, we come now to thank you for this opportunity to acknowledge your presence in this space. We don't have to invoke or invite you into this chamber because you were here before we ever arrived. So, Lord, now we ask that you would lead, guide, and direct this body of officials as they make decisions to govern the state of Virginia. In the book of Isaiah, we are reminded that the government shall be upon your shoulders. We ask that they would put their trust in you as they lead us. Please give wisdom, insight, a sense of justice, and passion for your people to everyone present here. It is our belief that your desire is that we live in unity with one another. So we ask that we would embrace the otherness in our colleagues as we come together. Help us to be mindful that you made it plain as to how we are to live and what to do. Your word tells us that what you want is quite simple. We are to do what is just and fair to our neighbor. We are to be compassionate and loyal in our love, and not to take ourselves too seriously, but rather take you seriously. Be with us as we convene this session, and we will be careful to give your name praise. Almighty God, hear our prayer. Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Happy birthday.
Clerk will call the roll. All those in attendance will please record their vote aye. Clerk will close the roll.
You have a quorum, Mr. President. Senate Journal for Thursday, February 20th, 2020.
Senator from Fauquier, Senator Vogel moves that the reading of the journal be waived. All in favor of waiving the reading of the journal will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 36, noes 3.
Ayes 36, noes 3. The reading of the journal is waived. The clerk will report any communication from the House of Delegates. Senior Senator from Fairfax, Senator Saslaw.
Mr. President, I move we waive the reading of the communications from the House of Delegates.
Thank you, Senator. The question is, shall the reading of the communication from the House of Delegates be waived? All in favor of waiving the reading will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 35, noes 4.
Ayes 35, noes 4. The reading of the communication from the House of Delegates is waived. The clerk will report any communication from the governor.
We do not have any, sir.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And now comes the time in the morning hour where we have the privilege and the pleasure of welcoming our distinguished guests with us here in the Senate gallery. I will give my usual reminder that the way this will proceed is that a senator will stand up and recognize an individual or group. I will then offer the warm welcome of the Senate, and at the very end, we will all applaud together. I'd like to begin by calling on the senior senator from Virginia Beach, Senator D. Steff.
Mr. President, I rise for the purpose of an introduction.
Thank you, Senator. You have the floor.
Mr. President, today we're joined by one of my constituents, Christopher Mance. Christopher is a constituent and brother of James Mance, one of my session interns from VCU. Christopher is a student at Kellum High School in Virginia Beach. He's here today to learn more about the legislative process. With that, Mr. President, we'd like to give Christopher Mance, the taller of the two, a warm welcome of the Senate.
Thank the Senator. Would Christopher Mance please rise in the gallery if you are able? Christopher, thank you so much for joining us here today. We're honored to have you and appreciate all the great work you're doing and wish you nothing but success in school and in life. Keep on being a leader. And we echo the eloquent, generous words of the Senior Senator from Virginia Beach, Senator D. Steph. I would ask everyone to please join me to send the warmest welcome of the Senate to our friend Christopher Mance. Senator from Henrico, Senator Donovan.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise for the purpose of an introduction.
Thank you, Senator. You have the floor.
Today, Mr. President, we're joined in the gallery by not only some of my constituents, but also a member of our lobby family here, Mr. Ed Rhodes, also here with Carol and Elizabeth Rhodes, and his grandson, Cameron Messerel. Cameron is 9 years old. He's in the 4th grade at Robius Elementary, and he's really excited to see how we make laws. So please give them the warmest welcome of the Senate, Mr. President.
I thank the Senator. Would Ed, Carol, and Elizabeth Rhodes and Cameron Messerel please rise in the gallery if you are able? Ed, Carol, and Elizabeth, thank you all so much for being here. It's always an honor to have wonderful constituents come to the Capitol, your Capitol, and so we appreciate you taking the time to be here. And particularly Cameron, thank you for being here. We're all very excited to have you here and hope you have a wonderful day here at the Capitol. I know it's a day that you'll remember. So I would ask everyone to please join me and extend the warmest welcome of the Senate to our distinguished guests. Senator from Fauquier, Senator Vogel.
Good morning, Mr. President. I rise for purposes of an introduction.
Morning, Senator. You have the floor.
Mr. President, if you served in this body when my predecessor was here, Senator Potts, you heard a lot about John Hanley High School. I cannot tell you how many times my colleagues have asked me or told stories about John Hanley High School. Well, guess what? John Hanley High School is finally in the house. There are students in the gallery and their teachers this morning from John Hanley High School in Winchester, Virginia. They're taking government, and they're learning about the process of passing legislation. Hopefully, we will not let them down. We'll do something interesting on the floor today. They're here with James Gowdy, their esteemed social studies and world history teacher. So the gallery is packed full of these Hanley High School students, and I would ask Mr. President and members of the body for you to please extend to them the very, very warm welcome of the Senate.
I thank the Senator. Would our young leaders from John Hanley High School please rise in the gallery if you are able? Hello to each one of you. Thank you all so much for being here today. Thank you for your tremendous leadership, for taking the time out of school to visit your Capitol and see the way the legislative process works. We are very grateful to have our young leaders here. You are the future of this Commonwealth of Virginia, and I know the Senator from Fauquier, Senator Vogel, is particularly proud to have you all here, but we all are as well. And I noticed one of your classmates has on a Duke University sweatshirt. That's an outstanding sweatshirt. Wear that everywhere you go. And I would like to wish the warmest to all of you, and congratulations to John Hanley High School. The Senior Senator from Richmond City, Senator McClellan.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise for an introduction.
Thanks, Senator. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today's invocation was given by Dr. Lisa Johnson of Richmond Hill, who is a member of First Shiloh Baptist Church in Mechanicsville, where she works as a counselor with victims of sexual and domestic abuse, and the program director for the Healing Place Center for Christian Counseling and Spiritual Formation. Dr. Lisa is a retired teacher who served for over 30 years in Richmond Public Schools and is the chaplain for the Henrico County Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. She serves on the boards for Hope for Families and the Council for Richmond Hill and has a passion for the marginalized and privileged, the victim and the perpetrator, and believes that all deserve healing. She is accompanied today by family members and Joycelyn Morton, Thomas Johnson, Ao Morton, and Greta Randolph, and Nicole Hayes. I ask that you give them all a warm welcome.
Thank the Senator. Will the Reverend Dr. Alicia Johnson and family please rise in the gallery if you are able? Dr. Johnson, thank you so much for that really inspiring prayer and for your inspirational body of work here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. We're very grateful to you for your moral leadership and your activism in the community to lift people up and to make our Commonwealth a better place. So you are always welcome here, and to your family. Thank you all so much for all that you do and for your support of Dr. Johnson. It's a privilege to have you, and look forward to having you back here again soon. So we echo the eloquent and generous words of the Senior Senator from Richmond City, Senator McClellan, and Nicole. It's always wonderful to see you. I would ask everyone to please join me in extending the warmest welcome of the Senate to our distinguished guests. For what purpose is Senator from Eastern Fairfax? Senator Surville rise.
Rise for request.
Senator has the floor.
Mr. President, will the Journal please reflect that my seatmate, the Senator from Prince William County, is away on personal pressing business?
Thank the Senator. The Journal will so reflect. For what purpose is Senator from Hampton? Senator Locke rise.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like for you to extend a warm welcome to one of the hardest working groups of people ever, group of individuals from the Division of Legislative Services.
I thank the Senator. Would our friends and leaders from the Division of Legislative Services please rise in the gallery if you are able? Thank you all so much for being with us, not only here today, but every single day. You do extraordinary work, and this place would not be able to function without your brilliance and your leadership, your dedication, your commitment. We know that there are many early mornings and long nights that you all put in to make the work of these 40 senators, the staff, the pages, everyone who works in this building possible. So we are deeply grateful to you and your commitment to the Commonwealth of Virginia. All 8.5 million Virginians are very proud of every single one of you and of your families and all that you do to make us better every single day. So I would ask everyone, please, to join me in extending the absolute warmest welcome of the Senate to our extraordinary leaders from the Division of Legislative Services. I think Senator Surville has a few more bills he'd like to draft, if that's okay. For what purpose is Senator from Franklin County? Senator Stanley rise.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise for kind of like an introduction, but it's an announcement, if I may.
Senator has the floor.
Mr. President, members of the Senate, last night as we were toiling into the evening, into a time where we were in a rush to get to the basketball game, our coach, Senator Peterson, and I'm to understand, and I'm sure he's going to tell us about this at the end of our day, fought valiantly. And we were not able to bring home the hardware. But I want to first thank every member of this chamber who then, when we were notified that the Richmond Public Schools could not provide the buses for our pages to attend the Capitol Classic there, the basketball game, that you all rallied around and we were able to deliver them in style with 2 buses from Richmond Limousine. We're very grateful for their assistance. And they were able to go there. And they wore shirts, and they were peppy, and they did a great job representing this body, Mr. President, to the point where even though we did not bring home the hardware that is the basketball trophy, we brought home what matters more, Mr. President, which is this hardware, which is the Spirit Award that's given between a competition of the House pages and the Senate pages, and our Senate pages right here behind me won this Spirit Award. They carried us almost to victory, and they made us proud. So, Mr. President, I would ask that you recognize, because we don't bring many basketball hardware trophies back into this chamber, So it is exceptionally important when we bring one of the greatest trophies you can ever get, the Spirit Award from the Capitol Classic. So I'd ask you, Mr. President, and members of this Senate, to recognize our great pages who do such a great job for us and make us proud every day, and especially last night. Thank you, Mr. President.
I thank the senator. For what purpose, the senator from Fairfax City, Senator Peterson, rise?
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise to give a point of personal privilege disguised as an announcement.
Senator has the floor.
Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, I want to be able to speak while the the Senate pages are here. Last night, I am announcing that we lost by 1 point, 26-25, on a shot that literally went through the basket as time expired. I will not mention who made that shot or their relationship to anybody else in this building, but it was a devastating defeat. But you know what? From defeat, you rise. And let me speak first of all just a little bit. I want to thank the staff who brought the pages there, allowed them to attend. I want to thank Senator Stanley and Senator Reeves for putting together the money that we could do that at the last second. I want to thank the pages for being so enthusiastic and just lifting us up on the court. I want to thank my colleagues that joined me out on the basketball court, Senator Reeves, Senator Surivel. I want to thank Senator Barker for being our coach. I want to thank Senator Chase for bringing members from her community, her pastor, who were wonderful players and colleagues. I want to thank other folks that attended. Senator Kiggins was there to cheer us on. That made a difference. Life can be hard. Life is a game of inches. Every day we look around and we fight for those inches. They're all around us. Inches are the difference between winning and losing. They're the difference between living and dying. Last night, we were a couple inches short. But every day we're going to fight for those inches in this body, whether we're Democrat or Republican or whatever we do. And I want you young people to remember that life is a game of inches. It's so close, victory from defeat. And every day you prepare yourself and you do the best you can, because it may be, I missed a free throw with a few seconds left. We turned the ball over with a few seconds left. We all made a couple mistakes. But the day after, we're going to get up and we're going to keep fighting for those inches, because that's how we survive in this life. And I want you to remember that. When you all go back to your communities, you say, what did you learn in Richmond? You said, I learned that life is a game of inches. Thank you very much.
Love it. Congratulations. Yes. You want to present the trophy? Senator Stanley, would you mind doing that? Can they stand up? Can our championship pages please stand up? Congratulations. Well done, guys. Outstanding. Do any other senators wish to be recognized for purposes of an introduction? Is there any other business to come before the Senate in the morning hour? Seeing none, the clerk will call the calendar.
Senate calendar for Friday, February 21st, 2020. Unfinished business House. House Bill 33. The House has rejected the Senate substitute.
Senator from Arlington, Senator Favola.
Mr. President, may that bill go by for the day.
Without objection, House Bill 33 will go by for the day.
Thank you.
House Bill 259. The House has rejected the Senate substitute.
Senator from Roanoke City, Senator Edwards.
Mr. President, with regard to House Bill 259 and what the House did, I move that the Senate insists and request a committee of conference.
Thank you, Senator. The question is, shall the Senate insist and request a committee of conference regarding House Bill 259? All in favor of the motion will please record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senator desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 37, noes 0.
Ayes 37, noes 0. The motion is agreed to.
House Bill 405, the House has rejected the Senate substitute.
Senator from Portsmouth, Senator Lucas.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate insist and request a committee of conference.
Thank the Senator. The question is, shall the Senate insist and request a committee of conference? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 36, noes 0.
Ayes 36, noes 0. The motion is agreed to.
House Bill 519, the House has rejected the Senate substitute.
Senator from Southern Fairfax, Senator Barker.
Mr. President, I move that we not insist and request a committee of conference here. It was basically a one-word. So is it? What's the wording here? Is it recede? Okay, I move that we recede from our position. I think it was a one-word issue, and it was not a material word in terms of substance on the bill. So.
Thanks.
Mr. President.
Senator from Hanover, Senator
Would the
McDougal.
gentleman yield for question?
Will Senator yield?
Could you, Mr. President, I'd ask the gentleman, could he tell us what the one word was?
Yes. Senator's the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. If I recall correctly, I think it was whether you used the word aid or services, was whether it's legal aid or legal services. So you could take your pick. So.
Thank you, Senator. Question is, shall the Senate recede from the Senate amendment? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? All the senators voted. Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk, close the roll.
Ayes 37, noes 0.
Ayes 37, noes 0. The motion is agreed to.
House Bill 648, the House has rejected the Senate amendments.
Senator from Portsmouth, Senator Lucas.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. I move that the Senate insist and request a committee of conference.
Thank the Senator. The question is, shall the Senate insist and request a committee of conference? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk, close the roll.
Ayes 39, noes 0.
Ayes 39, noes 0. The motion is agreed to.
House Bill 792, the House has rejected the Senate substitute.
Senator from Roanoke City, Senator Edwards.
Mr. President, with regard to House Bill 792, I move that the Senate insist and request a committee of conference.
Thank the Senator. The question is, shall the Senate insist and request a committee of conference? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk, close the roll.
Ayes 39, noes 0.
Ayes 39, noes 0. The motion is agreed to.
House Bill 861, the House has rejected the Senate substitute.
Senator from Roanoke City, Senator Edwards.
Mr. President, I move that the Senate insist and request a committee of conference.
Thank the Senator. Question is, shall the Senate insist and request a committee of conference? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 39, noes 0.
Ayes 39, noes 0. The motion is agreed to.
House Bill 1150, the House has rejected the Senate substitute.
Senator from Roanoke City, Senator Edwards.
Mr. President, with regard to House Bill 1150, I move that the Senate insist and request a committee of conference.
Thank the Senator. Question is, shall the Senate insist and request a committee of conference? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk, close the roll.
Ayes 36, noes 3.
Ayes 36, noes 3. The motion is agreed to.
Unfinished business, Senate. Senate Bill 69 has passed the House with a substitute.
Senator from Hampton, Senator Locke.
Mr. President, I ask that Senate Bill 69 go by for the day.
Without objection, Senate Bill 69 will go by for the day.
Senate Bill 105 has passed the House with a substitute.
Senator from Arlington, Senator Favola.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move that the Senate reject the House substitute.
Senator will speak to that.
Yes, we had a lively debate, actually, in the Judiciary Committee on whether intimate partner should be included in the bill or whether we should just be addressing child abuse alone. And the House has a very different opinion. So,
thank the Senator. With the recommendation that it be rejected, the question is, shall the Senate concur with the House substitute? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? What are we doing? Clerk, close the roll.
Ayes 5, noes 34.
Ayes 5, noes 34. The House substitute is rejected.
Senate Bill 247 has passed the House with a substitute.
Senator from Eastern Fairfax, Senator Servell.
Mr. President, I would move that we approve, accept the House amendments. Speaking to that motion.
Senators, the floor.
I think the difference is we use the word they and you use the word, they use the word parties, or maybe vice versa. I can't remember which, but it really doesn't make a difference, and I'm happy with their version.
Thank the Senator. Question is, shall the Senate concur with the House substitute? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 33, noes 6.
Ayes 33, noes 6. The Senate concurs with the House substitute.
Senate Bill 263 has passed the House with a substitute.
Senator from Loudoun, Senator Bell.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move we reject the House amendments. And speaking to that motion,
Senator has the floor.
The House removed, this is the bill as a refresher that would provide in-person training for concealed handgun permits. The House removed all references to the National Rifle Association and their training. By doing so, I think this seriously takes away training options and will hurt people in getting the training needed for concealed carry training. So with that, I move we reject this amendment. Or reject.
Yes. Thank you, Senator. With the recommendation that it be rejected, the question is, shall the Senate concur with the House substitute? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 0, noes 39.
Ayes 0, noes 39. The Senate does not concur with the House substitute.
Senate Bill 373 has passed the House with amendments.
Senator from Bass, Senator Deed.
Mr. President, I move that we accept the House amendments. The First Amendment is basically declaratory in nature. It assures that we are talking about the needs of survivors of sexual assault. The Second Amendment takes off the cause, and I'm advised by the staff of the Senate Finance Committee that this program is funded in both budgets, so the cause isn't needed anymore. So vote green.
Thank the Senator. Question is, shall the Senate concur with the House amendments? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senator desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 39, noes 0.
Ayes 39, noes 0. The Senate concurs with the House amendments.
Senate Bill 593 has passed the House with a substitute.
Senator from Augusta, Senator Hanger.
Thank you, Mr. President. With the recommendation that we reject the House substitute, I move that we concur. And speaking to that,
Senator, the floor.
This bill deals with the storage of ammunition and firearms in licensed family day homes. The House substitute would expand that to unlicensed family day homes as well, those that may be registered. So I would ask that we reject the House substitute.
Thank the Senator. With the recommendation that it be rejected, the question is, shall the Senate concur with the House substitute? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk, close the roll.
Ayes 2, noes 37.
Ayes 2, noes 37. The Senate does not concur with the House substitute.
Senate Bill 670 has passed the House with amendments.
Senator from Williamsburg, Senator Mason.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move we accept the House amendments. And speaking of that,
Senator, the floor.
Mr. President, this is the unrestorably incompetent bill that I had last year. If someone comes into court and they have traumatic brain injury or dementia, we didn't want them to have to come back. And so I worked on it all year long with the council down the hall. And a colleague down the hall took particular interest once we fixed it and decided to change the wording and just take out calling out dementia and whatnot. So, Mr. President, this does no damage. It passes a bill, and he can run his conference package around at the end of the thing, and we'll accept the bill, and I hope you support it.
Thank the Senator. Question is, shall the Senate concur with the House amendments? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk, close the roll.
Ayes 39, noes 0.
Ayes 39, noes 0. The Senate concurs with the House amendments.
Senate Bill 724 has passed the House with a substitute.
Senior Senator from Richmond City, Senator McClellan.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate accept this House substitute and speaking to that amendment.
Senator has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is the bill that increases the statute of limitations for crimes, certain sexual misdemeanors against children from 1 year till maturity to 5 years from maturity. The only difference now between the House and the Senate versions is the House took off the clause. This bill is funded in both the House and the Senate budget. I've been advised by the Finance Committee that the clause is no longer needed.
Thank the Senator. The question is, shall the Senate concur with the House substitute? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senator desire to change their vote? Clerk, close the roll.
Ayes 39, noes 0.
Ayes 39, noes 0. The Senate concurs with the House substitute.
We are awaiting House action on the remaining two bills. Uncontested calendar, House bills on third reading.
Senior Senator from Fairfax, Senator Saslaw.
Mr. President, I move that all House bills on third reading on the uncontested calendar on pages 7 through 23, that's House Bill 554 through 1615, be advanced to their final passage in a block after the adoption of any amendments thereto. Any senator desiring to remove a bill from the block, please do so after the clerk has read the number of the bill.
Thank the Senator. The question is, shall the House bills on the uncontested calendar third reading, pages 7 through 23, House Bill 554 through House Bill 1615, be placed upon their final passage in a block after the adoption of any amendments thereto, with the understanding that any senator desiring a bill be removed from the block will do so after the clerk has read the number of the bill. All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is agreed to. The bills are before us in the block. Clerk will read the number of the bills.
House Bill 554, reported from the Committee on Local Government.
Mr. President.
Senior Senator from Richmond City, Senator McClellan.
Thank you. Could House Bill 554 come out of the block, please?
Without objection, House Bill 554 will be removed from the block.
House Bill 1597, the committee amendment has been adopted by the Senate.
Mr. President.
Senator from Roanoke County, Senator Suderline.
Can House Bill 1597 please come out of the block?
Without objection, House Bill 1597 will be removed from the block.
House Bill 172, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations. House Bill 173, reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources. House Bill 186, reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections. House Bill 236, reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections.
Mr. President.
Senator from Rockingham, Senator Obenshain.
Could House Bill 236 come out of the block?
Without objection, House Bill 236 is removed from the block.
House Bill 271, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations with amendment.
Senator from Northern Fairfax, Senator Howe.
Mr. President, I move that the amendment be agreed to.
Thank you, Senator. The question is, shall the committee amendment be agreed to? All in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee amendment is agreed to.
House Bill 275, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations. House Bill 307, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations. House Bill 341, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations.
Mr. President.
Senator from Rockingham. Senator
House
Obenshine.
Bill 341 come out of the block.
Without objection, House Bill 341 is removed from the block.
House Bill 378, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations. House Bill 388, reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources. House Bill 449, reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources. House Bill 460, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations. House Bill 500, reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections. House Bill 539, reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections. House Bill 653, reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources. House Bill 755, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations with amendments.
Senator, want to pull it from the block?
I do.
Okay. You want to move the amendment first?
You may.
Or is that okay? Senator from Northern Fairfax, Senator Howe.
I move the amendment be agreed to.
Thank you, Senator. The question is, shall the committee amendments be agreed to? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee amendments are agreed to. Senator from Rockingham, Senator Obenshine.
Could that come out of the block?
Without objection, House Bill 755 will be removed from the block.
House Bill 775, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations with a substitute.
Senator from Northern Fairfax, Senator Howe.
I move the committee substitute be agreed to.
Thank you, Senator. The question is, shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All in favor of the motion will say aye. No. The ayes have it. The committee substitute is agreed to.
House Bill 797, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations. House Bill 849, reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections with a substitute.
Senator from Bath, Senator Deeds.
Mr. President, I move adoption of the substitute.
Thank you, Senator. The question is, shall the committee substitute be adopted? All in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee substitute is adopted.
House Bill
Mr. President.
Senator from Roanoke County, Senator Suderline.
Now that the substitute was adopted for the previous bill, House Bill 849, can that please come out of the block?
Without objection, House Bill 849 will come out of the block.
House Bill 882, reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources with a substitute.
Senator from Fairfax City, Senator Peterson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move the substitute.
Thank you, Senator. The question is, shall the committee substitute be adopted? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee substitute is adopted.
House Bill 886, reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources. House Bill 888, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations with amendment.
Senator from Northern Fairfax, Senator Howe.
I move the committee amendment be agreed to.
Thank the Senator. The question is, shall the committee amendment be agreed to? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee amendment is agreed to.
House Bill 906, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations. House Bill 1023, reported from the Committee on the Judiciary with a substitute and from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations with an amendment.
Mr. President?
Yeah, does the Senator want to pull that from the block?
Yes.
Would you mind?
House Bill 886 and House Bill 906, if they could come out of the block.
Okay, going back. So 886 and then 906. Okay, without objection, those will be removed from the block. Now we're on House Bill 1023. Senator from Roanoke City, Senator Edwards.
Mr. President, I move that the committee substitute be adopted.
Thank you, Senator. The question is, shall the committee substitute be adopted? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee substitute is adopted. Senator from Northern Fairfax, Senator Howe.
I move the committee amendment be agreed to.
Thank you, Senator. The question is, shall the committee amendment be agreed to? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee amendment is agreed to.
House Bill 1053, reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections. House Bill 1061, reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections. House Bill 1074, reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources. House Bill 1086, reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections. House Bill 1100, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations. House Bill 1131, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations.
Mr. President.
Senator from Rockingham, Senator Obenshain.
Can House Bill 1131 come out of the block?
Without objection, the bill is removed from the block.
House Bill 1238, reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections.
Mr. President.
Senator from Roanoke County, Senator Suderline.
Can House Bill 1238 on page 19 please come out of the block?
Without objection, the bill is removed from the block.
House Bill 1262, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations.
Mr. President.
Senator from Rockingham, Senator Obenshain.
Could 1262 come out of the block?
Without objection, the bill is removed from the block.
House Bill 1285, reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections. House Bill 1318, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations with amendments.
Senator from Northern Fairfax, Senator Howe.
I move the amendments be agreed to.
Thank you, Senator. The question is, shall the committee amendments be agreed to? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee amendments are agreed to.
And, Mr. President.
Senator from Rockingham, Senator Obenshain.
Can that one come out of the block?
Without objection, House Bill 1318 is removed from the block.
House Bill 1328, reported from the Committee on Rehabilitation and Social Services with a substitute, and from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations with a substitute.
Senator from Portsmouth, Senator Lucas.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the amendments and this substitute be agreed to.
Yeah, I think what we may need to do. No, it's okay. Maybe to reject the first substitute and then accept.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. President.
The substitute.
Mr. President, could I defer to Senator Boysko? This is the bill is identical to her Senate Bill 656.
Mr. President, I move the substitute be agreed to from the Committee on Appropriations.
Okay, hold on 1 second. So I think what we need to do is reject the first substitute from the Committee on Rehabilitation and Social Services. I think Senator Favola is, I believe, chair.
Mr. President, do we want to reject the? I thought we were fine. Okay, Mr. President, I move that we accept or we adopt the substitute from Rehab and Social Services. So is that not where we are?
We have two substitutes, one from Rehab and one from Finance. So you have to, if you go to the Finance sub, you have to reject the Rehab sub.
Mr. President, I would move that we reject the Rehab and Social Services substitute and accept the Finance substitute.
Okay, so let's. All right, so it'll be two motions. All right, so let's do this one. We'll do them one at a time. Starting with the substitute from Committee on Rehabilitation and Social Services, with the recommendation that it be rejected. The question is, shall that committee substitute be adopted? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The noes have it. The committee substitute. It was close. The committee substitute is rejected. Senator from Northwestern Fairfax, Senator Boysko.
Mr. President, I move that we accept the Finance and Appropriation substitute.
Thank you, Senator. The question is, shall the committee substitute be adopted? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee substitute is adopted.
House Bill 1349, reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources. House Bill 1353, reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources. House Bill 1357, reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources.
President.
Senator from Loudoun, Senator Bell.
Can HB 1357 come out of the block and go by for the day?
Without objection, bill will come out of the block and go by for the day.
House Bill 1402, reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections. House Bill 1498, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations.
Mr. President.
Senator from Roanoke County, Senator Suderline.
Can both House Bills 1402 and 1498 on page 22 please come out?
Without objection, both bills will be removed from the block.
Two more chances. House Bill 1602, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations with the substitute.
Senator from Northern Fairfax, Senator Howe.
I move the substitute be agreed to.
Thank the Senator. The question is, shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee substitute is agreed to.
House Bill 1615, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations.
Question is, shall the House bills pass in a block? That is all bills except for the following: 554, 1597, 236, 341, 755, 849, 886, 906, 1131, 1238, 1262, 1318, 1357, 1402, and 1498. All in favor of the motion. For what purpose is the senior senator from Virginia Beach, Senator D. Steph, rise?
Mr. President, I just want to confirm that we've taken out of the block Senate Bill 172 and 173 as well.
What pages are those on?
172 is on page 8, and 173 is on page 9, and we have not taken either out.
Neither was taken out of the block.
I'm sorry, Mr. President. If you can just take 173 out of the block, House Bill 173. Thank you.
Without objection, that bill will also be removed from the block. Question is, shall the remaining House bills in the block pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 38, no 0.
Ayes 38, no 0. The bills in the block pass.
Returning to page 7, House Bill 554.
Senator from Accomack, Senator Lewis.
Mr. President, I move the bill pass, and speaking to that motion.
Senator has the floor.
Mr. President, House Bill 554 authorizes a locality to disprove an application submitted for an administrative review eligible project or any zoning approval required for a standard process to relocate a new structure or to co-locate a wireless facility in an area where all cable and public utility facilities are required to be placed underground. And that rejection can be based on the grounds that an applicant has not given written notice to adjacent landowners at least 15 days before it applies to locate a new structure in the area. The notice requirement is the gravamen of the bill, Mr. President, and I renew my motion that the bill pass.
Thank the senator. For what purpose does the senior senator from Virginia Beach, Senator D. Steph, rise? Thank the senator. Do any other senators wish to be heard regarding House Bill 554? Seeing none, the question is, shall House Bill 554 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? All the senators voted. Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 37, no 0.
Ayes 37, no 0. House Bill 554 passes.
And Rule 36-1, I'm sorry.
And Rule 36-1. The bill passes.
Page 8, House Bill 1597.
Senator from Northern Fairfax, Senator Howe.
I move the bill pass, and speaking to the bill.
Senator has the floor.
What this bill does is allow ticker funds to be used as matching funds for Go Virginia. This is basically contrary to policy. However, we did want to give it a chance, so we've put a one-year sunset on it. I move it pass.
Thank you, Senator. Question is, shall House Bill 1597 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 31, noes 6.
Ayes 31, noes 6. House Bill 1597 passes.
Page 9, House Bill 173.
Senator from Fairfax City, Senator Peterson.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is the bill that directs the Department of DGIF not to license a stationary waterfowl blind in any area where the local governing body has prohibited such a blind. I think it's an issue that's somewhat unique to the Suravel family, but I move that the bill pass.
Thank you, Senator. Question is, shall House Bill 173 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote?
I'm going to vote you no.
The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 33, noes 5.
Ayes 33, noes 5. House Bill 173 passes.
Page 9, House Bill 236.
Senator from Bath, Senator Deeds.
Mr. President, I move the bill pass.
Senators, the floor.
This bill is identical to Senate Bill 856, which was carried by the senator from Alexandria that passed this body 34-6. It increases the membership of the State Board of Elections from 3 to 5 members. It does a few other things, but that's the main part of it.
Thank the senator. The question is, shall House Bill 236 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 34, noes 4.
Ayes 34, noes 4. House Bill 236 passes.
Page 11, House Bill 341.
Senator from Northern Fairfax, Senator Howe.
I move the bill pass, and speaking to the bill.
Senator has the floor.
This just expands the information that TAX can share with the Department of Social Services in order to facilitate outreach and enrollment in the federal and state earned income tax credits.
Thank the senator. The question is, shall House Bill 341 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 26, noes 12.
Ayes 26, noes 12. House Bill 341 passes.
Page 14, House Bill 755.
Senator from Northern Fairfax, Senator Howe.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the bill pass.
Thank you, Senator. You have the floor.
This just designates blighted properties and derelict properties in qualifying localities as separate certifications of real property and allows them to be taxed at a higher rate than the general real property tax once the local assessor determines the properties are blighted or derelict.
Thank the senator. What purpose is the junior senator from Richmond City, Senator Morrissey, rise? You good? Okay, no problem. Question is, shall House Bill 755 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 23, noes 15.
Ayes 23, noes 15. House Bill 755 passes.
House Bill 849 on page 15.
Senator from Bath, Senator Deeds.
Mr. President, I move the bill pass.
Senator has the floor.
The bulk of this bill, the thrust of this bill, is that it's subject to any message, any political message that's placed on or promoted for a fee on an online platform to the same disclosure requirements to which print media, television, and radio advertisements are subject. It's a stand-by-your-ad sort of bill for online advertisements.
Thank the senator. Question is, shall House Bill 849 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 38, no 0.
Ayes 38, no 0. House Bill 849 passes.
On page 16, House Bill 886.
Senator from Fairfax City, Senator Peterson.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is the bill on, first of all, move the bill pass, speak to the motion.
Senator has the floor.
This is the bill on the State Trails Advisory Committee, which extends the sunset from 2021 to 2027. They basically work in tandem with DCR to look at our state network of trails and make it as user-friendly as possible. Thank you.
Thank the senator. Question is, shall House Bill 886 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk, close the roll.
Ayes 38, no 0.
Ayes 38, no 0. House Bill 886 passes.
Page 16, House Bill 906.
Senator from Northern Fairfax, Senator Howe.
I move the bill pass. And all this bill does is add Chesapeake to the list of localities that are authorized to issue bonds for construction of certain public facilities and retain sales tax collected within the facility to pay off the bonds.
Thank the senator. Question is, shall House Bill 906 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 37, noes 1.
Ayes 37, noes 1. House Bill 906 passes.
Page 19, House Bill 1131.
Senator from Northern Fairfax, Senator Howe.
Mr. President, I move the bill pass. This bill is identical to Senator Barker's bill, and it deals with revenue share assessments for solar energy projects.
Thank the senator. Question is, shall House Bill 1131 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 32, no 6.
Ayes 32, no 6. House Bill 1131 passes.
Page 19, House Bill 1238.
Senator from Bass, Senator Deeds.
Mr. President, I move the bill pass.
Senator has the floor.
This bill changes the requirement that print media disclosures be displayed in a minimum font size of 7 point to a requirement that such disclosures be displayed in a font size proportionate to the size of the advertisement. And it tasks the State Board of Elections with creating the standards for meeting the requirement size.
Thank you, Senator.
Hold on.
Purpose Senator from Fairfax City, Senator Peterson. Rise.
Gentleman, yield for a question.
Well, Senator yield.
I will yield.
Senator yield. You have the floor.
So if I've got a big 4x8 billboard that says CHAP on it, does that mean that paid for and authorized by Chap Peterson has to be at the same size?
Senator has the floor.
I don't think, Mr. President, I don't believe that's what it requires. But if the gentleman wants this bill to go by for
Let's
the day,
have that one go by. I'd have to order new signs.
May this bill go by for the day.
Without objection, House Bill 1238 will go by for the day.
Page 20, House Bill 1262.
Senator from Northern Fairfax, Senator Howe.
I move the bill pass.
Senator has the floor.
And the bill adds named localities to the list of counties that can impose a transient occupancy tax. at a rate above 2%, but not to exceed 5%, and the additional revenue is to be used for tourism.
Thank the Senator. Question is, shall House Bill 1262 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk, close the roll.
Ayes 32, noes 6.
Ayes 32, noes 6. House Bill 1262 passes.
Page 20, House Bill 1318.
Senator from Northern Fairfax, Senator Howe.
I'm getting my exercise. I move the bill pass. This
There's the
deals
floor.
with the motion picture tax credits. It extends the date to 2025 that they will be available, and it transfers the responsibilities for administering the tax from the Virginia Film Office to the Virginia Tourism Authority. Move the bill pass.
Thank the Senator. Question is, shall House Bill 1318 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk, close the roll.
Ayes 31, noes 7.
Ayes 31, noes 7. House Bill 1318 passes.
Page 22, House Bill 1402.
Senator from Bath, Senator Deeds.
Mr. President, I move the bill pass.
Senators, the floor.
This bill removes the requirement that the officer of election audibly repeat the residence of address of a voter offering to vote. The bill provides that the officer of the election is required to verify with the voter his full name and address and repeat audibly the voter's name.
Thank you, Senator. Question is, shall House Bill 1402 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 36, noes 2.
Ayes 36, noes 2. House Bill 1402 passes.
Page 22, House Bill 1498.
Senator from Northern Fairfax, Senator Howe.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the bill pass.
Thank you, Senator. You have the floor.
This bill establishes the Pharmaceutical Manufacturing Grant Program and Fund. It's identical to Senator Hanger, the senator from Augusta's bill that passed here unanimously.
Thank you, Senator. Shall House Bill 1498 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk, close the roll.
Ayes 38, noes 0.
Ayes 38, noes 0. House Bill 1498 passes.
Regular calendar, House bills on third reading. House Bill 787, a bill relating to grand jury hate crimes, reported from the Committee on the Judiciary.
Senator from Eastern Fairfax, Senator Servo.
Could that bill go by for the day one more day?
Without objection, House Bill 787 will go by for the day.
House Bill 358, a bill relating to contracts with government agencies for public works agreements with labor organizations, reported from the Committee on Commerce and Labor, and there is a floor amendment.
Senior Senator from Fairfax, Senator Saslaw.
Mr. President, I'm going to move that we adopt the amendment and then move the bill go by for the day. The amendment simply changes the word.
Senator, before we get to, do you want to waive the reading just before we get too far?
Oh, yeah. I move that we waive the reading.
Thanks, Senator.
President.
Senator from Rockingham, Senator Obenshain.
Just go by for the day before adopting the amendment.
It only changes government body to public body.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye for the day, then.
Thank you.
Okay. Without objection, House Bill 358 will go by for the day.
House Bill 831, a bill relating to utility easements, broadband, and other communications services, reported from the Committee on Commerce and Labor with a substitute.
Senator from Rockingham, Senator Obenshain.
feel guilty for taking bills out of the block, so to save time, I'd like to ask this one to go by for the day.
Without objection? There's no block. We're one by one, but
it's not in the block. But yes, it's fine to go by
no
for the
objection.
day. No
Okay.
objection.
Without objection, House Bill 831 will go by for the day.
House Bill 833, a bill relating to prevailing wage requirement for public works contracts penalty, reported from the Committee on Commerce and Labor with amendment.
Senior Senator from Fairfax, Senator Saslaw.
Mr. President, may that also go by for the day. Some of the caucuses are without some of the members, and some of the people have appointments, and so that's the reason for doing this.
Sure. Without objection, House Bill 833 will go by for the day.
House Bill 1037, a bill relating to health insurance short-term limited duration medical plans, reported from the Committee on Commerce and Labor with a substitute.
Senior Senator from Fairfax, Senator Saslaw.
This is my last request that this also go by for the day. On this, we're working on a substitute language. So, okay.
Thanks, Senator.
Without objection.
Without objection, House Bill 1037 will go by for the day.
House Bill 1623, a bill relating to fee for open space preservation, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations, and there are 2 floor amendments.
We'll start. Senator from Northern Fairfax, Senator Howe. After the day. Senator from James City County. Senator from James City County, Senator Norman.
Mr. President, I was going to respectfully ask to withdraw my amendment.
Okay. Do you want to do that first, or you want it to go by for the day? Okay. Without objection, House Bill 1623 will go by for the day.
House Bill 1, a bill relating to absentee voting, no excuse required, reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections with an amendment.
Senator from Bass, Senator Deeds.
Mr. President, I'm going to ask that this bill go by for the day, and I can make things easier if you'd like. I've got a series of bills that I think are going to promote some discussion I was going to take by for the day because we are missing members. Well, I can take them up as we get to them. I can take them up as we get to them.
House Bill 5, a bill relating to Clinch State Scenic River, reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources.
Senator from Fairfax City, Senator Peterson.
Before I take up scenic river votes, but I'm going to make an exception today. I really am going to move to pass this, move that the bill pass, speak to the motion.
Senator has the floor.
This is a really beautiful river, and you really ought to take the time to get down to Southwest Virginia to see it. And when you do, tell people there, I voted to make this a scenic river, so please pass the bill.
Thank the Senator. Question is, shall House Bill 5 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 35, noes 3.
Ayes 35, noes 3. House Bill 5 passes.
House Bill 19, a bill relating to voter identification, signed statement in lieu of required form of identification penalty, reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections with a substitute.
Mr. President, may this bill go by for the day?
Without objection, House Bill 19 will go by for the day.
House Bill 57, a bill relating to elections, date of June primary election, reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections.
Mr. President,
Senator from Bass, Senator Deeds.
May this bill pass. I move the bill pass. This bill is identical to Senate Bill 316, which was carried by the junior senator from Virginia Beach and passed the Senate 24-16 several weeks ago. It simply changes the date of the June primary date from the second Tuesday in June to the third Tuesday. I move it pass.
Thank the Senator. The question is, shall House Bill 57 pass?
Mr. President.
What purpose, Senator from Roanoke County, Senator Suterline rise.
When my seatmate's bill passed, I was lightly chided by another member that I didn't speak against it, and I probably should have spoken against that one. So I have the same viewpoint that he expressed that day, but I believe that by moving the primary another week into June, further away from school year, we are going to be lowering turnout. And I hear from folks in both parties all the time about concerns about not having high turnout in nomination events and it not producing nominees always that are as representative of each party as we might like, and perhaps allowing certain small groups to have disproportionate influence. And I believe that by moving the primary, the only thing worse is if we made it the week of July 4th. And I really hope we don't do this today. I fear we will, but my conscience chided me and required me to speak against it today.
Thanks, Senator. Question is, shall House Bill 50, for what purpose is the junior senator from Virginia Beach, Senator Kiggins, rise?
Mr. President, I rise to speak to the bill.
Senator's the floor.
I'd just like to remind everyone that no excuse absentee ballot voting will be happening in Virginia from now on, so there will be no excuse if you're traveling or out of town or unable to make it to the polls that day. I would also like to remind the body that this is really a school safety issue, and this is when this bill was presented in committee, we had a lot of the education advocates, school boards, teachers unions, those types of things in support of this bill and moving the date just purely for the safety of the students. Oh, and we have, thank you very much, and we have no ID required for elections. So no excuse, no ID required. I think you can get to the election.
What purpose, Senator from Eastern Fairfax, Senator Servell, rise?
Speaking to the bill very briefly.
Senator's the floor.
All the examples that were just cited are reasons you can already vote early. So, absentee ballot isn't the issue. The issue is that people go out of town, they forget, they don't remember there's an election until a week or two before. These elections are not as highly contested. You don't get as much notice about them. They're not covered as much in the paper. A lot of the people I socialize with right now, when the last week of school hits, they get out of town. And this bill is going to keep them from voting. That's simply what this does. Our primaries are already mostly people with gray hair voting. This is going to get even grayer if we do this. And I know that Senator Saslaw appreciates that. But, we need to be doing things to increase turnout, not decrease turnout. And that's exactly what this does. And I've never heard of a school shooting during an election. I don't know why anybody would walk into a school or cause a problem inside of a school because the election was going on. I think it's just it's paranoia. I think it's just people that are tired of having to mark parking spots in a parking lot or something. The system's been working great for decades. I'm not clear what issue we're trying to solve other than trying to make life a little bit easier for a couple election officials, and I just don't think this is well motivated.
What purpose is Senator from Western Fairfax, Senator Marsden, rise?
Speak to the bill, Mr. President.
Senator's the floor.
I like the idea of young people seeing their parents vote. I think that's important to our system, and I would vote that we reject this bill.
And Senator, for what purpose, Senator from Alexandria, Senator Eben, rise?
Briefly speaking to the bill.
Senator's the floor.
I would ask the members of this body if you've had kids in schools or if you have kids currently in schools. No one. Okay. So, we have one. So how many immediately go on vacation just the day that your kids go out of school? Anyone immediately go on vacation every year? Okay, we got one. Really? Surprising. How many how many people think that we shouldn't have sex offenders in the schools while your kids are there? Okay, that's if you. This is a bill to keep criminals away from your kids.
What purpose is the senior senator from Richmond City, Senator McClellan? What purpose is Senator from Northwestern Fairfax, Senator Boysko, rise?
Thank you, Mr. President. Speaking to the bill.
Senator has the floor.
As a person who went through 4 elections in the past year, I've been through 3 primaries. I can tell you that it is difficult for voters to get to a school and find the doors. They change the locations depending on how big the election is, from the front door to the back door to the side door. People have a hard time getting through. I am supporting this bill, and I encourage the body to vote for it.
Do any other senators wish to be heard regarding House Bill 57? Seeing none, the question is, shall House Bill 57 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk, close the roll.
Ayes 18, noes 19.
Ayes 18, noes 19. House Bill 57 fails.
House Bill 88, a bill relating to elections, campaign finance, filing schedule for persons with multiple campaign committees. Reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections.
Senator from Bath, Senator Deeds.
Mr. President, I've been out of the House of Delegates too long to carry their bills, apparently. I move this bill pass.
Senator has the floor.
This bill requires any person who is named as the candidate in a statement of organization for more than one campaign committee at a particular time to file reports for all such committees on the same schedule as the first committee. The whole reason is for this bill is to make sure there's some transparency in who's contributing to which campaigns. And I hope the bill passes.
Senator, for what purpose, Senator from Roanoke County, Senator Suderline rise?
Mr. President, I rise to speak in favor of the bill.
Senator has the floor.
Mr. President, House Bill 88 is a very good approach to dealing with an issue that so many of us that watch the election finance reports have noticed over and over again. You'll have candidates running for statewide office, and all of a sudden their legislative campaign committee starts receiving contributions at a quicker clip than one might expect when it's so far away from a legislative election. And then very close to the election, shockingly, the legislative campaign committee transfers money to the statewide campaign committee. I think this is a very good effort to add that transparency that ought to be there. I hope it will be a pleasure of the body to pass House Bill 88.
Thank you, Senator. Do any other senators wish to be heard regarding House Bill 88? Seeing none, the question is, shall House Bill 88 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk, close the roll.
Ayes 32, noes 5.
Ayes 32, noes 5. House Bill 88 passes.
House Bill 146, a bill relating to sample ballots, color paper of unofficial sample ballots. Reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections.
Senator from Bath, Senator Deeds.
Mr. President, I move the bill pass.
There's the floor.
This bill removes the restriction on unofficial sample ballots from being printed on yellow paper. With this bill, unofficial sample ballots are prohibited only from being printed on white paper.
Thank you, Senator. Do any other senators wish to be heard regarding House Bill 146? Seeing none, the question is, shall House Bill 146 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk, close the roll.
Ayes 32, noes 4.
Ayes 32, noes 4. House Bill 146 passes.
House Bill 179, a bill relating to recounts procedure for certain ballots. Reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections.
Senator from Bath, Senator Deeds.
Mr. President, I move the bill pass. This bill requires recount officials to segregate all ballots for which there is a question regarding the ballot's validity prior to the conclusion of the recount of each precinct. The bill provides that the recount court may not consider the validity of any ballots not set aside prior to the conclusion of the recount of each precinct. I hope it passes.
Thank you, Senator. Question is, shall House Bill 179 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 36, noes 0.
Ayes 36, noes 0. House Bill 179 passes.
House Bill 196, a bill relating to employment discrimination against electoral board members and assistant general registrars, prohibition on discrimination in employment penalty. Reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections.
Senator from Bass, Senator Deeds.
Mr. President, I move the bill pass.
Senators, the floor.
This bill prohibits discrimination in employment against electoral board members and assistant general registrars on the basis of service on Election Day or at a meeting of the electoral board following the election to ascertain the results of the election. Current law prohibits such employment discrimination only on the basis of Election Day service and only against officers of the election. A violation of this bill's provision is a Class 3 misdemeanor.
Thank the Senator. For what purpose, Senator from Fairfax City? Senator Peterson rise.
Gentleman, yield for a question.
Will Senator yield?
Has this ever actually happened?
Senators, the floor.
Mr. President, the gentle lady, when appearing in committee, did not cite an example of it happening, as I recall, but she did point out that at this point, discrimination is only illegal if the discrimination is on the basis of Election Day service and only against officers of election, not against those other people who work in the election.
Further question?
Further question, Mr. Chair.
Senator yield?
I yield.
Senator yield.
So in other words, if you have an employee that doesn't show up and turns out that they were fulfilling some role in an electoral office and comes time you have to make a decision as to whom to promote, that's something you can't take into account?
Senator's the floor.
Mr. President, if you are discriminating against them because they are an electoral board member or an assistant general registrar, neither of which are full-time jobs, that's going to be illegal.
Further question, Mr. Chair.
Senator yield?
I yield.
Let's say I have an associate that runs for the General Assembly, and let's say that person gets elected, and let's say that person doesn't show up for 60 days. Do I have to keep them on my payroll?
Senators, the floor.
Mr. President, that doesn't address the gentleman's employment practices for hiring a member of his, or hiring someone who may be gone for 2 months. No. This only relates to officers of the election or assistant registrars or members of the electoral board, people who would otherwise be involved in doing their civic duty of participating in the electoral process.
Can this bill go by for the day?
Without objection, House Bill 196 will go by for the day.
House Bill 200, a bill relating to additional local sales and use tax in Mecklenburg County, appropriations of Mecklenburg County to incorporated towns for educational purposes. Reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations.
Senator from Northern Fairfax, Senator Howe.
I move the bill pass, and speaking to that,
Senators, the floor.
This is identical to the senator from Mecklenburg's bill, which passed the Senate earlier. This just makes Mecklenburg County another locality that can have a referendum to allow local option sales tax of up to 1% for school construction or renovations.
Thank you, Senator. Question is, shall House Bill 200 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk, close the roll.
Ayes 23, noes 12.
Ayes 23, noes 12. House Bill 200 passes. You know what? Actually, that vote needs that bill needed 27 votes. So I just want to remind Senator from Northern Fairfax, Senator Howe. I just want to point out that bill needed 27 votes.
Yes.
It only got 23.
Mr. President. Mr. President.
Yeah. Yes. Senior Senator from Chesapeake, Senator Cosgrove.
We reconsider that vote.
Thank the Senator. The question is, shall the vote by which House Bill 200 failed be reconsidered? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 37, noes 0.
Ayes 37, noes 0. The motion is agreed to. Senator from Northern Fairfax, Senator Howe.
I now ask that the bill go by for the day.
Without objection, House Bill 200 will go by for the day.
House Bill 202, a bill relating to officers of election, timing of additional training following change in law or regulation.
Senator from Bass, Senator Deeds.
Mr. President, I move the bill pass.
Senator has the floor.
Under existing law, training for officers of election is supposed to occur not later than 3 days prior to the November general election following the enactment of a new law or regulation which changes election law. This bill requires the additional training to take place not less than 3 days prior to the first election occurring in the locality after the law or regulation has taken effect. Again, I move the bill pass.
Thanks, Senator. The question is, shall House Bill 202 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 34, noes 0.
Ayes 34, no 0. House Bill 202 passes.
House Bill 207, a bill relating to absentee voting, no excuse required, permanent absentee voter list. Reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections with amendments.
Senator from Bass, Senator Deeds.
Mr. President, may this bill go by for the day.
Without objection, House Bill 207 will go by for the day.
Mr. President,
Senator from Henrico, Senator Donovan.
having voted on the prevailing side by which Senate Bill 831 was passed on page 24, can we please reconsider that vote?
831. I think that bill went by for the day. Okay. Thank the Senator. Yeah, that bill went by for the day.
House Bill 213, a bill relating to voter identification, accepted forms of identification, student identification card issued by out-of-state institution of higher education. Reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections.
Senator from Bass, Senator Deeds.
Mr. President, may that bill go by for the day.
Without objection, House Bill 213 will go by for the day.
House Bill 220, a bill relating to absentee voting, postage prepaid on return envelope. Reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections with amendments.
Senator from Bass, Senator Deeds.
Mr. President, may that bill go by for the day.
Without objection, House Bill 220 will go by for the day.
House Bill 235, a bill relating to automatic voter registration. Reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections with an amendment.
Senator from Bass, Senator Deeds.
Mr. President, may that bill go by for the day, please.
Without objection, bill will go by for the day.
House Bill 237, a bill relating to local electoral boards, terms to begin January 1. Reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections.
Senator from Bass, Senator Deeds.
Mr. President, may that bill pass.
Senator has the floor.
Currently, terms for local electoral boards begin on March 1. This changes that so that terms will begin January 1. If the results of an election have not been certified by the board or a recount or an election has not been concluded, the term will expire at midnight on the day the results are certified or the recount is concluded instead of on December 31. I move the bill pass.
And Senator, for what purpose, Senator from Roanoke County, Senator Suderline rise?
Mr. President, to ask the Chairman of Privileges and Elections, the Senator from Battlefield, yield for a question.
I'll yield.
Senator Yields, you have the floor.
Mr. President, I'd like to ask the Chairman of Privileges and Elections, as they were discussing the bill, I certainly think that we should change the date. The current date, as a former party chair, was not helpful. My only question about that is, was there any discussion of the timing of that? January 1 might not seem problematic, and perhaps it's not, but as I just look around this room and I see there's several senators that are here that were actually elected in elections between January 1st and the beginning of the start of a General Assembly session, and is that not, I think that might not be a great time to actually start a new role.
Mr. President, I'd say that very issue was discussed in the committee, and I think the consensus on the committee was that there's never going to be a perfect time for a change to take place, because you never know when the need for a special election is going to occur, and January 1 is as good as any other date. And
further question?
No, just speaking briefly.
Senator, has the floor.
Mr. President, I thank the chairman of Privileged Elections for that. There might never be a good time, but we know there's certain times there won't be special elections based on the law of when they can occur. And I just think that's something that we might want to consider. I understand we're probably going to make it January 1 today, but as I just look around the room and I see so many people that were elected, and I would point out that the special elections that occur between January 1 and the start of a General Assembly are almost always General Assembly elections, and they might, at least to me, be especially significant. Often control is at stake of the General Assembly, and that's just something I have concern.
Thank you, Senator. For what purpose, Senator from Alexandria? Senator Eben rise.
To speak briefly to the bill.
Senator, has the floor.
I would just point out to the Senator from Roanoke County that often the members of the Electoral Board are reappointed, and what we were trying to avoid was having them changes before the November election. It's true there that they might be reappointed also, but we thought this was a time in general that most Electoral Board members do not have a special election. Most of them do not.
Thank the Senator. Do any other senators wish to be heard regarding House Bill 237? Seeing none, the question is, shall House Bill 237 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senator desire to change their vote? Clerk, close the roll.
Ayes 35, noes 0.
Ayes 35, noes 0. House Bill 237 passes.
House Bill 238, a bill relating to absentee voting, deadline for returning absentee ballot. Reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections.
Senator from Bath, Senator Deeds.
Mr. President, I move that this bill pass.
Senator, has the floor.
The bill provides that any absentee ballot that's returned to the general registrar after the closing of the polls on election days, but before noon on the third day after the election, and if it's postmarked on or before the date of the election, shall be counted if the voter is found entitled to vote. It's similar to a bill that I think Senator Reeves carried earlier.
Thank the Senator. Question is, shall House Bill 238 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk, close the roll.
Ayes 35, noes 0.
Ayes 35, noes 0. House Bill 238 passes.
House Bill 239, a bill relating to absentee voting, deadline for applying for an absentee ballot to cast other than in person. Reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections.
Senator from Bath, Senator Deeds.
Mr. President, I move that this bill pass.
Senator, has the floor.
It adjusts the deadline for a voter to apply for an absentee ballot that's to be cast by mail from the 7th day prior to the election to the 11th day prior to the election. The bill also adjusts the deadline for applications for multiple elections for uniformed and overseas voters and for emergency applications and absentee ballots for persons incapacitated or hospitalized.
Thank you, Senator. The question is, shall House Bill 239 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk, close the roll.
Ayes 36, noes 0.
Ayes 36, noes 0. House Bill 239 passes.
House Bill 240, a bill relating to absentee voting and Annual applications for eligible absentee voters. Reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections.
Senator from Bass, Senator Deeds.
Mr. President, may that bill go by for the day, please.
Without objection, House Bill 240 will go by for the day.
House Bill 242, a bill relating to absentee voting, emergency voting. Reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections.
Senator from Bass, Senator Deeds.
Mr. President, may that bill go by for the day.
Without objection, House Bill 242 will go by for the day.
House Bill 273, a bill relating to school boards, teachers, planning time, and planning periods. Reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations with an amendment.
Senator from Northern Fairfax, Senator Howe.
I move the amendment be agreed to.
Thank you, Senator. The question is, shall the committee amendment be agreed to? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee amendment is agreed to. Senator from Northern Fairfax, Senator Howe.
I move that the bill pass. And speaking to the bill,
Senator has the floor.
With this amendment, the bill is now identical to the senator from King George's bill. It deals with planning time for teachers. I would ask that it pass.
Thank the Senator. The question is, shall House Bill 273 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senator desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 29, noes 7.
Ayes 29, noes 7. House Bill 273 passes.
House Bill 282, a bill relating to scenic river designation, Maury River. Reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources with an amendment.
Senator from Fairfax City, Senator Peterson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move the bill pass. Speak to the motion.
The Senator want to first move the committee amendment?
Oh, move the committee amendment.
Thank you, Senator. The question is, shall the committee amendment be adopted? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee amendment is adopted. Senator from Fairfax City, Senator Peterson.
Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, this is identical to a bill we passed out of here for Senator Deeds, and just designates that the Maury River is a scenic river and also ideal for paddling down, I might add.
Thank the Senator. Question is, shall House Bill 282 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senator desire to change their vote? Clerk, close the roll.
Ayes 32, noes 3.
Ayes 32, noes 3. House Bill 282 passes.
House Bill 366, a bill relating to public defender offices, cities of Manassas and Manassas Park and County of Prince William. Reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations.
Senator from Northern Fairfax, Senator Howe.
I move the bill pass. And speaking to it,
Thank the Senator. You have the floor.
this simply adds the public defender offices for Prince William and Manassas Park, and it is funded in our budget.
Thank the Senator. Question is, shall House Bill 366 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 33, noes 3.
Ayes 33, noes 3. House Bill 366 passes.
House Bill 486, a bill relating to additional local sales and use tax in Henry County, Northampton County, Patrick County, Pittsylvania County, and the city of Danville. Appropriations of Henry County, Northampton County, Patrick County, and Pittsylvania County to incorporated towns for educational purposes. Reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations.
Senator from Northern Fairfax, Senator Howe.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the bill pass. And speaking to it,
Senator has the floor.
this is just adding 5 more localities to the increasingly long list of localities that can have a referendum to increase their sales tax to pay for school construction and renovation.
Thank you, Senator. Question is, shall House... for what purpose, Senator from Franklin County? Senator Stanley.
Parliamentary inquiry.
Senator has the floor.
Is this the type of bill that requires a supermajority?
No, it is not. This requires a simple majority.
Very good. Okay. Thank you, Mr. President. Appreciate it.
Okay. Good.
It's more than one locality. It's more than one.
with the explanation being because it's more than one locality. So, okay. Question is, shall House Bill 486 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senator desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 29, noes 7.
Ayes 29, noes 7. House Bill 486 passes.
House Bill 504, a bill relating to Chesapeake Bay preservation areas, mature trees. Reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources.
Senator from Fairfax City, Senator Peterson.
Thank you, Mr. President, for the third time. Ladies and gentlemen, the Senate move the bill pass.
The Senator has the floor.
Okay. This is going to be the first of a couple of tree planting bills. This first one deals with directing the State Water Control Board to come up with criteria for planting trees and using that as a way to control erosion and other criteria that they would look for in terms of Chesapeake Bay Protection Act. So move the bill pass.
Thank the Senator. Question is, shall House Bill 504 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 26, noes 10.
Ayes 26, noes 10. House Bill 504 passes.
House Bill 520, a bill to direct the Department of Environmental Quality to study tree planting as a land cover type and stormwater best management practice. Reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources with an amendment.
Senator from Fairfax City, Senator Peterson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move the committee amendment.
Thank you, Senator. The question is, shall the committee amendment be adopted? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee amendment is adopted. Senator from Fairfax City, Senator Peterson.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is the second half of the tree planting bill. This directs DEQ to bring together a stakeholder group to look at the advantages of planting mature trees in stormwater areas, particularly in urban areas that suffer from stormwater runoff, and see that as a way of protecting the bay and limiting stormwater runoff. So I move we pass the bill.
Thank the Senator. Question is, shall House Bill 520 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? All the senators voted. Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 33, noes 3.
Ayes 33, noes 3. House Bill 520 passes.
House Bill 533, a bill relating to expanded polystyrene food service containers prohibition civil penalty. Reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources, and there is a floor amendment.
Senator from Fairfax City, Senator Peterson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think before I speak to the bill, there's a floor amendment to take up.
Yes, there is. And we're going to Senator from Roanoke County, Senator Suderline.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd move that the floor amendment reading be waived.
Question is, shall the reading of the floor amendment be waived? All in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The reading of the floor amendment is waived. Senator from Roanoke County, Senator Suderline.
Mr. President, speaking briefly to the floor amendment.
Senator has the floor.
As you can see, the floor amendment, which should have been distributed on your desk, provides a reenactment clause. When you look at the legislation itself, you'll see that even the proposed legislation is not set to go into effect until even after this reenactment would be required. There's a lot of discussion about what the effects this would have on small businesses. I think even the patron in drafting the legislation that she did with the delayed implementation seems to at least agree that it's something that is going to take time. I think it's something that should be discussed further. We've got so many other things happening this session that we're putting a lot of pressures on small businesses. I know a lot of folks have different opinions on those, but I think this is something that needs more discussion, and I hope it'll be the pleasure of the Senate to adopt the reenactment clause.
Mr. President.
What purpose, Senator from King George, Senator Stewart rise?
Would the gentleman yield for a question?
From Roanoke County?
Yes, Mr. President.
Will Senator yield? Yes, Senator Yields, you have the floor.
Mr. President, I'd ask the gentleman, there seemed to be that he had discussed this amendment with the patron of the bill, and the patron of the bill was okay with this amendment. Is that in fact the case?
Senator, the floor.
I do not believe I suggested that I spoke with the patron on that.
Mr. President, then I would ask the gentleman if he'd yield for another question. Did you discuss this amendment with the patron, and is the patron okay with this amendment?
Senator, the floor.
Mr. President, my microphone seems to be requiring me to hold at just the correct angle today. The question was about the discussion with her. I thought I said that I had not discussed it with her.
Mr. President, may I restate my question? The gentleman would yield.
Will Senator yield? Senator Yields?
I'll continually yield. Yes, sir.
Okay. Senator Yields, you have the floor.
Mr. President, I just want to make sure that the patron is aware of this and whether or not the patron supports this amendment.
Senator, the floor.
Mr. President, I see the chairman of agriculture would like me to yield to him.
Senator for Fairfax City, Senator Peterson.
The gentleman's question, I did discuss this with the patron yesterday, and we talked about this fact, and I'm not saying we're in agreement on it, but I support the motion, which I'm happy to explain. But the bottom line is I did make her aware of it.
Mr. President, I will speak to the amendment at the appropriate time.
May one do it now? Okay.
Mr. President, I'd hope we'd reject this amendment. I have spoken with the patron about this, and she does not support this. And the frustrating thing about this is the reason the bill takes effect a couple years later is because it gives restaurants the time to use up what they have and to plan for using other materials other than styrofoam to put carry-out food in. But if you drive down any country road in rural Virginia, the ditches are full of styrofoam cups and styrofoam food containers and styrofoam this. If you walk down the shoreline of any waterway in Virginia, the shorelines are piled up with this stuff. And there are other things you can use that we can actually recycle or that are biodegradable. And I typically don't support taxes on plastic bags or taxes on this other stuff because I think it has an inordinate effect on a certain population in the community. But I support bans on these kinds of things because the material is bad for the area we live in, and this is the best way to eliminate that problem. So I hope you all will not support this amendment with this reenactment clause.
Thanks, Senator. For what purpose, Senator from Western Fairfax, Senator Marsden rise?
Thank you, Mr. President. Speak to the bill.
Senator, the floor.
A few more complications to this. There is industry folks who are interested in a perhaps coming to Virginia and establishing a facility to reprocess these kinds of materials. And one of the concerns I had is that just banning them the way we're banning them really doesn't get at all of the products that we have that use polystyrene. So I think this would give us some time to send a message to that industry that if we could even expand upon those things that we're banning and ban more of them from more places, that industry could come in here and reprocess those things that we have, and we can reconsider that ban next year based on the information that they give us about their ability to mitigate some of those products. Thank you.
Thanks, Senator. For what purpose, Senator from Henrico, Senator Donovan rise?
Mr. Chairman, I know it's Friday, but I cannot, Mr. President, I know it's Friday, but I cannot help myself.
Senator, the floor.
The problem is not the object, the styrofoam. It is the human who threw it. And I don't think banning the styrofoam is going to get at the problem because the paper cup they're given in lieu of the styrofoam will be thrown out their window as well. So to solve your problem, I believe we would need a different solution. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank the senator. For what purpose does the senior senator from Richmond City, Senator McClellan, rise?
Thank you, Mr. President. Speaking to the floor amendment.
Senator, has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. The problem actually is the styrofoam, because whether it's in a landfill or whether it's in a ditch, it's not biodegradable, and particles of it are going to harm our environment and get in the bloodstream of animals or fish that end up digesting it. So the styrofoam is the problem. And there are, if you're concerned about industries, there are industries, including companies here in Virginia, that manufacture biodegradable products that can be used to replace the styrofoam. I think the delayed enactment clause that the patron put on the bill to begin with gives anyone who wants to come in to recycle items a chance to do that. But in the meantime, we send a signal. We prefer biodegradable products to be used that are not going to harm our rivers and streams and animals and clog up and pollute our ditches and along the streets. So I ask that we vote against this floor amendment.
Thanks, Senator. For what purpose, Senator from Alexandria, Senator Eben, rise?
Speak to the floor amendment?
Senator, has the floor.
First, I feel like I have to speak because the senator from Eastern Fairfax is not here to talk about stream cleanups and what he finds. But as we know, styrofoam is one of the pollutants that we find, whether it's broken up smaller, whether it's larger. I concur with the comments from the senior senator from Richmond, but I will also remind the senator from Henrico that we do have laws against littering and trash being thrown out the windows of cars and so forth, or not being thrown in receptacles. And those laws don't always work. And in terms of what the senator from Western Fairfax said about giving time for industry to get the message, there's plenty of time in this bill to get the message, and it shows a more serious message when we pass it with the delayed enactment clause. So I do hope that we do pass the floor amendment.
What purpose, Senator from Fairfax?
I do hope that we defeat the floor amendment, and ultimately, I hope that we ultimately pass the bill with no floor amendment.
For what purposes, the Senator from Fairfax City, Senator Peterson, rise.
Speak to the floor amendment. Ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, I know it's late, but give me a moment of your time. One of the types of businesses I represent, both as an attorney and as a customer, is a small carry-out Indian food restaurant on Lee Highway in Fairfax City. And I stopped by there, and it's owned by two brothers who are from Bombay, or Mumbai as they call it now. And this is the type of restaurant that operates very close to the margin. In fact, these brothers drive an Uber on weekends so they can keep this business, which has got their life savings plowed into it. They can keep it alive. And every takeout meal that they send out is in one of these styrofoam containers, okay? So these are the people that you're putting this mandate on. Not Walmart, not Target, not the big boys. It's small businesses, okay? Now, here's what I have to say. I support this bill. I support the object of it. But it's not going to take effect until 2025 no matter what, all right? So we're talking 5 years down the road. We have had people approach us saying, we'd like to come in with an advanced recycling to try and save this product because we think it can be recycled. I will tell you right now that the small businesses that do carry-out business, you take this away, every single carry-out meal they do is in one of these cartons. You want them to purchase an alternative which is more expensive? Fine. They're barely making it right now. Is it going to put them out of business? I don't know. But the bottom line is we have put so many mandates on small businesses this session. Okay? And I've voted for most of them, maybe all of them. But sometimes it's not just about threats of litigation. Sometimes it's not just about, trying to drive up costs. Sometimes you just got to give people a break. Give people a break, okay? Just give them a break. We can pass this next year. This year, let's give them a break. Please support the floor amendment.
Thanks, Senator. For what purpose does the Senator from Roanoke County, Senator Suderline, rise?
Mr. President, if no other senators wish to speak.
Do any other senators wish to speak? Seeing none, Senator has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think the senator from Fairfax City, the chair of agriculture, made great remarks on why we should delay consideration of this. or reconsider it again next year. One thing I would add, when he was talking about all the different folks that we're putting this on, we're putting this on the small businesses across the Commonwealth. But if it were enacted as it is now, we're not putting it on ourselves. Yet again, there's an exemption for the Commonwealth and for our public school system. So if we really talk about sending a message as well and the importance of how we're going to treat the environment, do we really think that we ought to be telling our school children that it's okay here at the school, but it's not okay at the small business down the street? I don't think that this legislation, even if it's something that you want to do very soon, is not ready to be enacted in this year. And that's why I hope it'll be a pleasure of the Senate to adopt the floor amendment.
Thanks, Senator. Question is, shall the floor amendment be adopted? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. No. The ayes have it. The floor amendment is adopted.
Mr. President. Pass the bill. Mr. President.
Senator from Fairfax City, Senator Peterson.
I move that the bill be. I move that the body pass the bill.
Senator, this is the floor. For the reasons explained.
For the reasons explained, and this is a good bill, and this is a very good patron, I move that the bill pass.
Thank the Senator. The question is, shall House Bill 533 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senator desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 23, noes 13.
Ayes 23, noes 13. House Bill 533 passes.
House Bill 646, a bill relating to pipeline permit violation penalty amounts, reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources with a substitute.
Senator from Fairfax City, Senator Peterson.
Mr. President, before we get into pipeline politics, I move that we take this by for the day.
Without objection, House Bill 646 will go by for the day.
House Bill 704, a bill relating to environmental justice agency regulations working group, reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources with a substitute.
Senator from Fairfax City, Senator Peterson. Thanks, Senator. House Bill 704, without objection, will go by for the day.
House Bill 706, a bill relating to offshore oil and gas drilling policy, reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources with amendment.
Senator from Fairfax City, Senator Peterson.
Mr. President, third of three, this bill could go by for the day.
Without objection, House Bill 706 will go by for the day.
House Bill 785, a bill relating to local taxing authority, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations with a substitute.
Senator from Northern Fairfax, Senator Howe.
I move the substitute be agreed to.
Thank you, Senator. The question is, shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee substitute is agreed to. Senator from Northern Fairfax, Senator Howe.
This bill is now identical to Senate Bill 588, Senator from Augusta's bill dealing with the taxing authority of counties. It grants counties the authority to levy admissions, transient occupancy, and cigarette and food beverage tax effective July 1st, 2020.
Thank you, Senator. Question is, shall House Bill 785 pass? All in favor of the motion.
Mr. President.
Senator from Roanoke County, Senator Suderline.
I vote. Will the chair of Senate Finance and Appropriations, Senator from Northern Fairfax, yield for one question?
Will Senator yield?
Yes, I yield.
Senator yields. You have the floor.
Mr. President, I'd ask if this legislation is identical now to the Senate version that was passed out from the senator from Augusta.
Yes, that's my belief, yes.
Mr. President,
yes.
I thank the senator and like to speak briefly to the bill.
Senator, has the floor.
Mr. President, this bill, when it passed the Senate, I'm under no illusions about what's going to happen today. But I think this is a very bad idea. And I think this is especially bad idea is being highlighted by the fact that this is one of the rare taxation issues that the vote that I cast on the Senate side matched with the senior senator from Fairfax. He and I have had several spirited debates over the years on what taxing authority ought to look like. But what I pointed out last time was by taking away the referendum authority for the meals tax, we're taking away a system that's worked very well, a system in which Fairfax County on the same day cast a very large margin for Secretary Clinton, voted down a meals tax referendum. And the next year, Floyd County, after giving a very large margin to Mr. Gillespie for governor, voted for a meals tax referendum. I think the current system works. It allows local voters to make significant decisions about what's happening in their community, and I don't think we ought to be taking that away.
For what purpose does the senior senator from Chesapeake, Senator Cosgrove, rise?
I would ask that the senior senator from, sorry, not the senior senator, the senator from Northern Fairfax would yield for a question.
Will Senator yield?
I'll yield.
Senator yields. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President, and I thank the lady for yielding. This bill is going to give taxing authority that cities now have to counties. But what are the counties going to give up to get this?
Senator has the floor.
I guess I would ask a question with a question. Why should they give up anything?
Well, I'll answer the question of a question.
Senator yield, yes.
Cities, we pay for our own road maintenance. We pay for our own transportation needs. Counties have VDOT, most counties, have VDOT come in and do all their transportation needs. So I guess there seems to be a disparity here about everybody having the same taxing authority, but yet cities like Virginia Beach and Chesapeake and Suffolk, etc., will still have to pay for our own road maintenance.
Senator has the floor.
I would like to yield to the senator from Arlington.
Senator from Arlington, Senator Favolo.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, this bill is the Equal Taxing Authority, but part of the enactment clauses, there is going to be a study that will evaluate the authorities of counties and what their services and responsibilities are. So that's part of it. There's still discussion about when, in fact, the authorities will take place. So there's questions about the enactment clause in terms of when the authorities will, like I said, will take effect. And we're also going to be looking at other things, such as the uniformity among the stamping for the cigarette tax, which has been an issue and has to be looked at. This bill really enables counties to use different funding streams other than just relying heavily on the real estate tax. And as you know, our counties do provide funding for schools, for public service, for infrastructure, for human services, and their main source of revenue is still the real estate tax. And local officials are elected by their constituents, so there is that accountability. A member of the Board of Supervisors is going to have to face the voters if, in fact, the voters feel, quote, unquote, overtaxed. We've been working on this for a very long time, and I know the senator from Augusta County has been working on it probably longer than most of us who are patrons of the Senate bill. I think we need to move this bill forward. I respectfully ask that we vote for the bill.
For what purpose does Senator from Augusta, Senator Hanger, rise?
Thank you, Mr. President. Speak to the bill briefly.
Senator has the floor.
I hadn't intended to speak to prolong the conversation, and actually the senator from Arlington addressed the primary points that I would speak to. One, I would just reinforce it allows the counties, the local boards of supervisors, the latitude to look at additional revenue sources because the burden is on the most unfair tax there is, and that's the real estate tax. So it will give them that ability with different options for taxation that they can balance those for the local constituents and hopefully relieve the burden on all of that real estate which is out through rural and suburban Virginia. Thank you.
Thanks, Senator. One representative from Roanoke County, Senator Suderline, rise.
Mr. President, I just want to highlight again, when we say that the argument that the real estate tax is the least fair tax, I would suggest it's usually the most honest tax that we have in any county. People will have a good idea of what it is. And that's why when folks in Floyd County that I represent, when they were told they had the option of raising their meals tax, and they thought that it might help alleviate a property tax increase, they thought, given the way their economy was structured in Floyd, that that would be the best thing for them. And that's what the voters in a very Republican county did. The year after, voters in Fairfax County who saw what their property tax was, knew how high it was, and did not believe that it was likely going to relieve their property tax, voted down the meals tax. And we call it the meals tax, and it always makes it sound like this is something you only pay when you go out to eat. But the reality is it's on all prepared foods. So when you pick up the rotisserie chicken at your grocer, that's something that you've got to pay tax on. I'm under no illusions of what's going to happen today, but I'm disappointed, and it required me to speak a second time. I apologize for that, but I really don't think this is something we ought to do.
Question is, shall House Bill 785 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 23, noes 12.
Ayes 23, noes 12. House Bill 785 passes.
House Bill 859, a bill relating to stormwater management facilities, private residential lots disclosure, reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources.
Senator from Fairfax City, Senator Peterson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that bill pass and speak to the bill.
Senator, the floor.
This simply requires the State Water Control Board to adopt regulations about having an owner of residential property disclose the fact that there's a stormwater pond on his or her property prior to the sale. Again, it's not a legal code change, but just rather instructions to the Water Control Board. I ask the bill pass.
Thank you, Senator. The question is, shall House Bill 859 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 29, noes 6.
Ayes 29, noes 6. House Bill 859 passes.
House Bill 1145, a bill relating to designation of a segment of the Pound River as a state scenic river, reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources.
Senator from Fairfax City, Senator Peterson.
Thank you, Mr. President. You all know the drill. Move the bill past. This is the Pound River.
Thank you, Senator. The question is, shall House Bill 1145 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 32, noes 3.
Ayes 32, noes 3. House Bill 1145 passes.
House Bill 1162, a bill relating to Department of Environmental Quality, Environmental Justice, reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources with amendment.
Senator from Fairfax City, Senator Peterson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, this is going to be the first of 3 bills in a row I'm going to ask to take by. They were close votes in the committee, and I think we need to have a discussion. This is the Environmental Justice Bill, and I move that the bill go by for the day.
Without objection, the bill will go by for the day.
House Bill 1164, a bill relating to the Department of Environmental Quality Policy Statement, reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources with amendment.
Senator from Fairfax City, Senator Peterson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Same rationale. I ask the bill go by.
Without objection, the bill will go by for the day.
House Bill 1352, a bill relating to responsible solid waste disposal, reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources.
Senator from Fairfax City, Senator Peterson.
And one more time, ask the bill go by.
Thank you, Senator. Without objection, House Bill 1352 will go by for the day.
House Bill 1383, A bill relating to Virginia lottery internet sales, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology and from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations.
Senator from Northern Fairfax, Senator Howe.
I move the bill pass. Speaking to the bill.
There is the floor.
This bill is identical to Senator Norman's Senate Bill 922. And what it does is it repeals the prohibition on selling lottery tickets over the internet.
Thank you, Senator. The question is, shall House Bill 1383 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senator desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 29, noes 6.
Ayes 29, noes 6. House Bill 1383 passes.
House Bill 1421, a bill relating to poll books, requirements for printed copies of poll books. Reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections.
Senator from Bass, Senator Deeds.
Mr. President, I move the bill pass. This simply requires general registrars to produce and distribute printed copies of poll books to each precinct for any primary and general election.
Thank you, Senator. Question is, shall House Bill 1421 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 35, noes 0.
Ayes 35, noes 0. House Bill 1421 passes.
House Bill 1450, a bill relating to electric utility regulation energy efficiency programs. Reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources with a substitute.
Senator from Fairfax City, Senator Peterson. Thank you, Senator. The question is, shall the committee substitute be adopted? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee substitute is adopted. Senator from Fairfax City, Senator Peterson.
I'd like to move that by for the day.
Without objection, House Bill 1450 will now go by for the day.
House Bill 1451, a bill relating to electric utility regulation, mandatory renewable energy portfolio, standard, deficiency payments, energy storage deployment target. Reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources with amendments.
Senator from Fairfax City, Senator Peterson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, I'd like to move the amendments.
Thank you, Senator. The question is, shall the committee amendments be adopted? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee amendments are adopted. Senator from Fairfax City, Senator Peterson.
And then I'd like to take that by for the day.
Thank you, Senator. Without objection, House Bill 1451 will go by for the day.
House Bill 1556, a bill relating to political campaign advertisements, disclosures, authorization statement, name of candidate as it appears on the ballot, name of candidate, campaign committee as it appears on statement of organization. Reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections with a substitute.
Senator from Bass, Senator Deeds.
Mr. President, I move that the substitute be agreed to.
Thank you, Senator. The question is, shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee substitute is agreed to. Senator from Bass, Senator Deeds.
Mr. President, I move that the bill pass.
Senator has the floor.
This bill requires that when a disclosure statement for any political campaign advertisement includes the candidate's name, for the purpose of meeting the disclosure requirement, the name must be the same as appears on the ballot. That's simply what it requires.
Thank you, Senator. Question is, shall House Bill 1556 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 34, noes 1.
Ayes 34, noes 1. House Bill 1556 passes.
House Bill 1587, a bill relating to investment of public funds, rating agencies. Reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations.
Senator from Northern Fairfax, Senator Howe.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the bill pass.
Senator has the floor.
All this bill does is add Fitch to Standards & Poor and Moody's to the ratings agencies that can be used in determining whether certain investments are permissible with public funds.
Thank Thank the senator. Question is, shall House Bill 1587 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk, close the roll.
Ayes 35, noes 0.
Ayes 35, noes 0. House Bill 1587 passes.
House Bill 1598, a bill relating to James State Scenic River, reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources.
Senator from Fairfax City, Senator Peterson.
Mr. President, I move the bill pass and speak to the bill.
Senator has the floor.
I actually looked out my window down the street towards James River, and I think it is a scenic river, so I hope we will pass this bill.
Thank the senator. Question is, shall House Bill 1598 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 31, noes 4.
Ayes 31, noes 4. House Bill 1598 passes.
House Bill 1601, a bill relating to the Stanton State Scenic River, reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources.
Senator from Fairfax City, Senator Peterson.
Mr. President, I move the bill pass, speak to the bill.
Senator has the floor.
Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, one of the oddities of this state is that the Stanton River is nowhere near Stanton. One of these days we're going to figure that out. In the meantime, please vote for this bill.
Senator, question is, shall House Bill 1601 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 32, noes 3.
Ayes 32, noes 3. House Bill 1601 passes.
House Bill 1604, a bill relating to Department of Game and Inland Fisheries boat ramp fees, reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources.
Senator from Fairfax City, Senator Peterson.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is one of the more, I move the bill pass, speak to the bill.
There's the floor.
This is one of the more controversial bills we handled in our committee. Basically, it grants an exemption from boat ramp fees for folks that are bringing a paddle raft or basically are passengers in a vehicle. So seems fairly innocuous to me. I move the bill pass.
Thank you, Senator. The question is, shall House Bill 1604 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 34, noes 1.
Ayes 34, noes 1. House Bill 1604 passes.
House Bill 1612, a bill relating to scenic rivers, Grays Creek in Surrey County, reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources.
Senator from Fairfax City, Senator Peterson.
Okay. Mr. President, I move the bill pass.
Senator has the floor.
Speak to the bill. We're trying to figure out if it's the pork festival or what is it in Surrey County. Anyways, the bottom line is this is for Grays Creek in Surrey County.
Thank the Senator. For what purpose is Senator from Lynchburg, Senator Peak-Rise?
To speak to the bill, Mr. President.
Senator has the floor.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, like my corner mate here, I can't take it anymore. We have just named 15 scenic rivers today. We've named 60 since I've been here, and now we're naming a creek a scenic river. It's got to stop at some point. Thank you.
Thank the Senator. The question is, shall House Bill 1612 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 29, noes 6.
Ayes 29, noes 6. House Bill 1612 passes.
House Bill 1631, a bill relating to additional local sales and use tax in Charlotte County, appropriations of Charlotte County to incorporated towns for educational purposes. Reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations.
Senator from Northern Fairfax, Senator
Can
Howe.
that go by for the day, please?
Without objection, House Bill 1631 will go by for the day.
House Bill 1695, a bill relating to the Wildlife Corridor Action Plan. Reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources.
Senator from Fairfax City, Senator Peterson.
Mr. President, I move the bill pass, and very briefly, I got to meet a client at 4. I got to meet a client back home at 4 p.m. So this is simply the same exact bill that we passed from Senator Marsden. Please vote for the bill.
Thank you, Senator. Question is, shall House Bill 1695 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 22, noes 13.
Ayes 22, noes 13. House Bill 1695 passes.
Uncontested calendar, House bills on second reading.
Senior Senator from Fairfax, Senator Saslaw.
Mr. President, I move that all House bills on second reading on the uncontested and regular calendars, pages 42 through 80, House Bill 97 through House Bill 1725, that the rules be suspended and the second constitutional reading of the titles be dispensed with.
Thank you, Senator. Question is, shall the rules be suspended and the second reading of the titles of House bills on the uncontested and regular calendars, pages 42 through 80, House Bill 97 through House Bill 1725, be dispensed with? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk, close the roll.
Ayes 32, noes 0.
Ayes 32, noes 0. The reading of the titles is dispensed with. Senior Senator from Fairfax, Senator Saslaw.
Mr. President, I move that all said House bills be passed by for the day.
Thank you, Senator. The question is, shall the House bills on the uncontested and regular calendars now on third reading go by for the day? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The bills will go by for the day.
Uncontested calendar, Senate Joint Resolution on first reading. Senate Joint Resolution 110, confirming appointments by the governor of certain persons communicated to the General Assembly February 3, 2020.
Senior Senator from Fairfax, Senator Saslaw.
Mr. President, I would inquire of the clerk, does that complete today's calendar?
Yes, sir.
Mr. President, I just want to remind everybody that we are going to be on the floor a long time on Monday.
Thank you, Senator. Do any other senators wish to be recognized? For what purpose, Senator from Roanoke County, Senator Suderline, rise?
Mr. President, I'd like to rise for a brief point of personal privilege.
Senator has the floor.
Mr. President, today in the Roanoke Times, the editorial headline read, "Why does Virginia have so few female judges?" And in the editorial, it highlighted that nationally, 1 in 3 state judges are female, but here in the Commonwealth, it's only 1 in 4, which means we rank 43rd of the 50 states in the Union. And it also pointed out that our friends in South Carolina, who are the one other state in the Union that elect judges in the same fashion we do, are one of the top states when it comes to having female judges. And so it was perplexing to the editorial writers, why do we have so few? And I don't have an exact answer, but it doesn't make me feel good because I know the reality is we're one of the 2 chambers that elects judges. And so if we don't have that many in Virginia, it means because the chamber down the hall and us aren't doing so. And so it didn't make me feel good to read that. My home circuit, the 23rd in the Roanoke Valley, has not had a female judge on the circuit court in more than 20 years. That's also not something that makes me feel great. But fortunately, this year we have a great candidate named Lisa Schiaffoni. She's been a juvenile and domestic court judge of distinction for several years. She has been endorsed by both our bar associations. We have 2 in the Roanoke Valley, and both endorsed her singularly. She has the support of 2 of the 3 senators that are in the 23rd Circuit, and she has supported 2 of the 3 delegates in the 23rd Circuit. And fortunately, despite all that support, this afternoon, those of you that have the opportunity to interview judges will not get to hear from her. You'll get to hear from 2 other candidates who I have nothing critical that I'm planning to say about either one of them today. But it's disappointing to me that the way the process is working is that you will not have the opportunity to hear from the one candidate that of the 3 that has the most experience on the bench, the one that has the support of the majority of senators in her delegation, the one candidate who has the majority of the delegates in her delegation, and has the endorsement of both bar associations in our region. And that's something that is unfortunate. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. For what purpose, Senator from Roanoke City, Senator Edwards.
Mr. President, the Senate Judiciary Committee will meet 15 minutes after adjournment with the House Courts Committee to interview judges. And we have some outstanding judges, including one judge from Roanoke, by the way, that I've announced I'm supporting, who was endorsed by the Roanoke Bar Association in 2002 and repeatedly endorsed it with very high marks. And we'll talk about that when we get back in there. Okay, thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator.
Again, we need to get a quorum, so please come as soon as you can so we can get these interviews. We have about 26 or 27 judges, I think, to interview. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. Do any other senators wish to be recognized? Seeing none, the clerk will report any announcements on the desk.
Today, Friday, the Committee on the Judiciary and the House Judiciary Panel will meet 15 minutes after adjournment of the Senate and House Committee Room, ground floor at Pocahontas for judicial interviews. Monday, February 24th, the Committee on the Judiciary will meet at 8 a.m., Senate Room A, Pocahontas. The Local Government Subcommittee on Charters will meet at 8:30 a.m., Senate Room 3 in the Capitol. Senator Spruill, Pillion, Bell, Hashmi, and Kiggins.
Mr. President, the Subcommittee on Local Government will not meet.
That Local Government Subcommittee will not meet Monday.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. The Committee on Local Government will meet at 9 a.m., Senate Room 3 in the Capitol. The Democratic Caucus will meet at 11:30 a.m., Senate Room 1 in the Capitol. The Republican Caucus will meet at 11:30 a.m., Senate Room 2 in the Capitol. The weekend will be mostly sunny and breezy, but cold. So drive friendly.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Do any other senators wish to be recognized? Is there any other business to come before the Senate? Seeing none, I call the senator from Portsmouth, Senator Lucas.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate do now adjourn until 12 noon on Monday.
Thank the senator. The question is, shall the Senate stand adjourned until 12 noon on Monday? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The Senate stands adjourned until 12 noon on Monday.